guys, it's Friday again. Here we are.
TGIF.
How's the week been going? Al, I haven't spoken to you in what feels like months.
The week.
What are you doing when
the week has been good because I finally finished. Just got back home from being away for like 8-9 days.
Where were you?
It's good to be home.
Yeah.
I was in Denver.
Where were you?
Denver?
Denver, Colorado. It was actually Aurora, Colorado. So like a little outside of Denver, but it was nice. But it was work. So
did you do anything fun, or were you just in a hotel room the whole time?
I was in a resort the entire time. Well, a ballroom. Well, it's a resort, but like I was in their ballroom doing audio stuff the whole time. So
how many Subway sandwiches did you eat?
Subway sandwiches.
How many seafood sensations
Dude,
did you eat?
I will tell you, I think I stopped Subway altogether because they are just garbage all over.
Yeah, I could have told you that.
You're
I
Jimmy
worked
John's
there.
guy?
I worked there for a minute.
100%. I prefer Jimmy John's all the way. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure every Subway stopped selling that seafood sensation.
Yeah.
I think I was the only one in America eating the seafood sensation.
Yeah.
So
Like, we need to
corporate was
cancel
like,
this.
we can't just keep catering to this one guy. Was it cold there?
No, it was actually pretty nice. It was actually kind of warm at times. So it was pretty nice.
Nice.
What about you, dude?
Dude, I can't stop working. It's insane. I just work too much now.
Workaholic?
That's all I do. Dude, New Swoops is a guy that now makes daily goals, and he tries to meet those daily goals, and he rewards himself with too many gin tonics. I feel like this is just a way for me to drink more. By working more, then I get to drink more.
I love
Just
it.
calm down
It
on
seems
the rewards,
counterproductive.
dude. Just calm down on the rewards. Yeah, no. Just get the
You gotta
shit
reward
done.
yourself.
Yeah.
If you work
yeah,
hard,
but
dude, you gotta reward yourself.
If I was a credit card, I'd be racking up the rewards points right now in the form of booze. What about you, Brad?
what I
How's
finished
the
this
week
week?
been?
Oh,
Wait, what?
okay.
No.
So
No Toons yet.
You guys will find this exciting. I finished God Emperor of Dune this week. Dude,
shit.
nuts. Honestly, it has been by far.
That's the fourth one, right? That's four. Right?
Yeah, it's the fourth one. It's after Children of Dune. This one was like I finished it and I was a little pissed off because I was like, what the fuck kind of ending is that comparatively to the rest of them? But it was also the weirdest book out of all of them. Like, I think it would be very hard to replicate this in a movie because it took place in his mindset. I don't even want to tell you where we're at, but it was very you guys know about the Golden Path? Correct?
Yeah, no. Just don't. Can we not Dune talk? Because
that's fine. I'm just talking like an overall thing. It just basically went into that like most of the time.
Do you plan on? No, keep going.
Continue. Well, I was just going to say it just kind of talked about ideals and I don't want to give anything away, but just like
good.
ideas rather than things actually physically happening in the world.
Because I remember the second book got real heavy into like the government side of shit.
I just finished the second one.
It's not like I hate when sci-fi stories do. I mean, like I guess
you're not gonna like where it went then. You are not gonna like where it went then.
Like, can we just fight each other and like keep some action shit
you
and
are
like
gonna
get crazy?
Where
Like
it went.
what the fuck?
You're gonna absolutely probably hate where it goes, but they take the weirdest spin. Like, you guys wouldn't, if I told you what is going on right now, you'd be like, wait, what happened from A to Z? Because that doesn't make any sense at all. But there's quite a weird shift. There's one thing that happens that has to do with your normal Dune world that just flips the story on like a totally different axis. And you guys, where are you guys at? You guys are still in did you guys start the second book, or are you guys waiting for something?
I haven't finished the second book. Or no, I finished the second book, yeah.
Yeah, I just finished book 2 as well, and I'm about to start 3.
the end of 3 is pretty mind blowing. And then
do you plan on finishing all of them, Al? Like, I think there's 7 in the entire series.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Some people have said that, like, well, this was funny. So I guess after the end of the book, I looked up is how the book ended, just because it was a little confusing. I thought to myself, like, what I think happened really actually happened? And there were so many other people asking the same question, and people were just like, yeah, that's what happened. And we're like, okay, I was just checking to make sure that that's what happened, because it was a little weird. But like everyone else thought the same thing. And I guess it was just cool to hear other people's thought of, like, it didn't make sense, but I understood all of it. So so a lot of people say that the only reason this book is needed is because the next book is, like, one of the best ones, and you need that stepping stone of God Emperor of Dune to get there. So we'll see.
Hey, which idiot didn't silence their phone?
That may have been me.
Not me.
That may have been me. Why, am I dinging?
Yeah, you're dinging.
Whatever,
So
dude. This is a casual podcast. We're just...
I'm trying to be casual, but I just keep hearing dings, dude. What the fuck?
It's casual, dude. I'm a popular guy. I got a few dings, man. It's Friday.
Al,
Trisha's saying, what are you making for lunch? I'm coming home. Make me a sandwich.
No.
Seafood Sensations.
Yeah.
Homemade. Al finished the book. I did goals. What?
I didn't watch your guys' segment last week of the end of Primal. That ending was...
You haven't finished it yet?
No, I did finish it, and that
you
that
did
ending
finish it.
Was was kind of stupid.
Let's chat about that real quick. Now we can fully chat about that before we get into this week's stuff.
Al, dude, he was
what did
raped.
you think?
He was fucking raped.
Hold on. In the reality of it, well, he probably wanted to be raped, but in the reality of it, he didn't want to be raped at that time, dude. His body was seared. If anyone jumped on my crispy dick at that point, I'd be, like, in pain, screaming. First of all, your dick won't even work at that point anymore. There's no coming out of that dick at that point.
He was just a lifeless corpse with blinking eyes. Now, what do you do? Does a continuation series, as I told Brett in that, Genndy said that this was the end of Spear and Fang's story, and that if he did a season 3, it would be more of an anthology going forward, different stories. But do you feel like you want more Spear and Fang, or do you feel like that whole arc is good where it ended?
I think that was good where it ended. I think they could make it as equally as cool with his daughter, or what was a daughter, or whatever kid, a son or daughter.
She was dressed just like the mom, so
it was ambiguous.
It was a girl.
All right, yeah. I think they can go along with that.
Yeah, that was good shit. So before we move on to some tunes, remember to go to our Patreon account, patreon.com/wearethetelevision. We got some merch, we got some teas, we got some mugs. You got all of this bonus content, extra episodes, animatics, cool artwork, music, the works. Check it out. Guys, but before we jump into what tunes we were watching, I got 2 things to talk with you. One, have you guys seen the trailer for the Paloni show dropping on Hulu?
Is that Michael Cusack?
No.
Or Justin Roiland? Oh, no, Justin Roiland, but Michael Cusack is one of the animators. Yeah, I didn't see the trailer. No. I heard about it, though.
When we get off here, go check it out. The trailer just dropped on Hulu. I think it said October 17th is when we can expect that show out.
Cool.
And then the second thing is, did you guys watch the Solar Opposites Halloween special?
Oh, yeah.
I know Al didn't get a chance to do it because he was busy reading. He was reading books, which is the wise thing to do. He don't need to consume content. He's reading literature. But Brett, what did you think about it?
I thought it was good. You know, I actually thought the other special was better, the first one. I mean, I might be wrong.
The Christmas one?
Yeah. But I still thought this was pretty good. Solar Opposites is getting to the point where it's becoming almost like a a Simpsons for me, where you could turn on any episode and I'm gonna have a good time watching it, especially those specials. And I don't know, right now, like Justin Roiland loves doing those holiday things too, and they're great. So I loved it. I thought it was good.
In general,
that was my question.
I was gonna say, do you guys in general? I haven't seen this one, so I don't know how great it was. But do you guys like holiday specials in general normally?
I think I am. Like I wait for the Bob's Burgers Halloween special every year because they do some type of punny costume and it's usually a funny episode. I guess I have to be a fan of that season. Like I'm not waiting for the Valentine's Day special or anything like that. But if it's a holiday that I like, Halloween, Christmas, I'm sold.
Right.
I don't think I used to be a fan of holiday specials. I think I like, besides maybe the Beavis and Butthead, like old holiday specials, but like it got to a point where like Family Guy and American Dad were doing once every year. It was just like, oh, this is that throwaway episode. But now it kind of came back around for me. Like Smiling Friends came out with 6 episodes, and they put 2 holidays in there, which I thought was funny. And Michael Cusack tends to do that, not even in Smiling Friends, but in his other cartoons too, where he'll just put a holiday episode in there, and they're goofy. I kind of like them. So yeah.
I just feel like I always end up watching them when it's not the holiday.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
That's the other thing too. Like I don't want to Smiling Friends did it, but I feel like that was more just how the show was going. The shows that really do a standalone holiday special, like I don't want the Solar Opposites Halloween special in November. I want it in around that. I don't want the Christmas special in October. Like give it to me around the Christmas season. Those type of things. So when shows kind of do it out like that, I feel like it's more so not to more say be a special, but more so just a standalone episode, which is kind of nice.
I got one more thing before we get into Toons. Have you guys seen the Mario trailer?
I did. Yeah.
Dude, it actually looked pretty good, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It's a movie or a series?
Or Chris Pratt and Jack Black, and there's a bunch of other huge names in it.
I heard about that. I didn't see any trailer.
Charlie Day's Luigi.
What? Really? Oh, that's pretty good.
It looks pretty true to the actual Mario lore, which is pretty cool, and it looked beautiful. So
I'll check.
So that'll be pretty fun. CGI. So yeah, that'll be a pretty good one. Well, guys, it's back to that age-old question: what Toons are you watching? Who wants to go first this time?
I will.
Okay,
I'm excited.
You will, Brett. All right, Brett, kick us off.
So this week I picked one of my all-time favorite creators, and it was mainly because he is by far one of the most influenced by Halloween shit. If you go on his Instagram, it's all just murders, deaths. He'll draw sketches of Dahmer and shit. And that's not just now. That's serial. He's just influenced by that type of shit. And his first, so it's J.J. Villard, and I'm doing King Star King. Have you guys ever? Are you familiar?
Yeah, that's
we are familiar.
So it was just a I don't know what the actual log line is, but for people who haven't seen it, it's punk rock He-Man on drugs, pretty much. It's a band of heroes. One is King Star King, who's just a punk rock He-Man who's his superpowers are fueled by whenever he does a bunch of weird drugs. This takes place 300 trillion years before the Big Bang, so it's out there. And his crew is a wizard duck named Pooza, a robot bear named Garbles, and Hank Waffles, a owner of a waffle joint who's trapped in his waffle head mascot. It's a wild fucking concept, and the visuals are just as wild as the concept. So if you watch it, you are completely overstimulated the entire time. There's background characters with every girl has huge tits in this story, and they're no longer
They're always
never,
jiggling in the back.
Yeah, they're never just sitting. There's just like background characters are just flailing their boobs all around, which and then there's just like it takes place in outer space. There's fighting. It's crazy, but I'm not going to talk too much about the actual cartoon. I'm gonna say a pretty long story about J.J. Villard and where how he started, and then how he got the first Emmy for Adult Swim with King Star King. Because
before you dive into that though, where can viewers watch King Star King?
So I'm gonna attach the pilot episode, which you can get on you can watch on YouTube.
Watch on YouTube.
And then there's 6 other episodes, I think, that you can just watch for free on AdultSwim.com.
All right, hit us.
So yeah, this is a pretty long story, but I think that it's gonna tell you about the cartoon, and it as a creator or an animator, like I'm just genuinely interested in how a cartoon gets made and put on TV, or even gets to become an Emmy. Like you never hear that process, so it's pretty cool to hear how this was done, because he's said it a few times in a couple different podcasts, but this is kind of like a mesh of a few podcasts that he did, because one was on Adult Swim where he didn't like divulge all the information, and some was just on like other random people where he did. So he started in DreamWorks. He got his first job out of Cal Arts in DreamWorks on the Shrek 3 movie, which is
his first one.
Yes,
Shrek,
which is
Shrek 3.
Shrek 3, and it's
the best of them all.
Yeah, it's a fucking garbage movie. I mean, I don't want to offend anyone, but it's pretty fucking bad. So, I mean, Shrek 1 and 2 are I think Shrek 1 and 2 are pretty good, to be honest with you, but whatever. So he works on this for years, gets a pretty good paycheck. He's working at DreamWorks, and the movie came out, and he watches it, and he's like, I just spent the last 3 years of my life working on this garbage-ass movie. Like, what am I doing? But he's getting paid. So he ended up working on, Trolls and, like, other DreamWorks shit, but he hated working there. He said it was a machine. He worked on 2 seconds of the movie, and it's nothing he made himself. He's a cog in the machine. So he eventually makes DreamWorks fire him. He's like, he wants to get unemployment, but he's like, I can't work here anymore. He's like, there's Cartoon Network, there's Nickelodeon down the street from where I'm at, and I fucking hate my job. I want to get a show. I want to make a show by myself, but I'm getting paid well, and if I can't I can't live here without getting paid. So he makes them fire him. He gets unemployment, and he starts pitching he goes and pitches to Cartoon Network. He pitches to Craig McCracken, the guy who created Powerpuff Girls. He also worked as a writer on Dexter's Lab, all those early cartoons on Cartoon Network. He pitches and gets... He said he was so nervous. He was in the parking lot. He downed a beer before the pitch, went in the room, pitched, and Craig McCracken was like, change this, come back in a week. We'll see how you do. Comes back in a week, makes all the changes, and Craig McCracken's like, I love it. It's going to development. You got a deal. So, like, that was pretty wild for him. He's like, holy shit, I got a development deal at Cartoon Network. It's this show called Sticks and Bones that he was pitching. It was just a packet, like a pitch packet, and so it's in development. He's making this, and when the time comes to actually get the show out there, Cartoon Network says, well, we actually have a few cartoons in development, and we've got something pretty similar, and we don't know if we want to go with yours or this one. The other one's called Adventure Time, so we don't know if we want to go. He gets canned. The show doesn't work, and Adventure Time gets put on.
Yeah.
But they're like, but this was really cool, dude. I'm gonna introduce you to someone who I think would like this shit. Mike Lazo, who is he's huge in animation. He pretty much started Adult Swim. So he now goes and pitches a completely new Mike Lazo already knew about the Sticks and Bones, but it's for a kids show. It's not adult content. So he goes and pitches to Mike Lazo. It's a new idea, and Mike Lazo goes, "I love it. Let's do it." I don't know. So then he's like, all right, and on the way out of the meeting, JJ Villard has these sketchbooks, and he's actually the guy who started getting me into sketchbooks because his shit is just every day he'll carry one of the moleskins around and just put everything in there. So he had a printed out version of them that he used to just carry around with him. He had millions of copies, and he would just give them to people. So on his way out of the meeting that Mike Lazo already okayed his cartoon, he goes, "Here, have a sketchbook." Took one of them, walked out of the meeting. A few days later, Mike Lazo calls him and says, "Scratch your cartoon idea. We're not doing it. I want you to make a cartoon based around this guy in your sketchbook." And it's a cartoon of King Star King fighting some giant robot, and there's just like a bunch of murders and shit. So he's like, "Fantastic, let's do it." They needed a sister show for Super Jail. You guys familiar with Super Jail?
We are.
And I didn't understand what he meant by brother sister show, but I think I now got the context of it goes on relatively around the same time to gain like the same type of audience, you know, like so if someone
jump
watches
on their audience, take that audience without even trying.
So Mike Lazo gives him. They don't make the deal. Mike Lazo gives him money, enough money. He goes, "I want to see this animated." He gives him some money to animate 60 seconds of this. He goes, takes the money, makes 60 seconds of it, brings it back to Mike Lazo. Mike Lazo's like, "This is garbage, man. The animation's terrible. What the fuck, dude?" And JJ was like, "Whoa, wait. Just give me one more shot. JJ leaves. Fine. He's like, "Shit, what the fuck am I going to do?" Leaves, calls the lead animation director of Super Jail. And I believe it was Mike Carlo at the time. And he's a good follow on Instagram. I think he works at Titmouse, maybe. I don't know. But he does animation. So calls him. He goes, "I need you to do a freelance project. Could you do this for me?" He's like, "Yeah, let's do it." Does the 60 seconds, brings it back to Mike Lazo. Mike Lazo's like, "Fantastic. Here's the money for not a deal, just for a pilot episode." So now he has enough money to make a pilot episode. Mike Lazo hooks him up with a writer. He hooks him up with Eric Kaplan, I think his name is, and he was the lead writer for The Big Bang Theory.
Love it. Classic show.
Oh,
you do like that.
Yeah,
I don't like that. What
I
is
don't
that,
get it.
dude? Why do you like Big Bang Theory? We can get back that if we want, but fuck you.
Yeah.
But either way. But he also wrote on a shit ton of other cartoons too. Simpsons, Futurama, like big name shit. So he hooks him up with that. I think he also owns like a production studio as well. So they get put together. They make the pilot episode. Mike Lazo loves it. They get 6 episodes to put on Adult Swim. They're halfway through the production, and Mike Lazo calls JJ and goes, like, they're already they're like 3 of the 6 episodes were done. He's like, "We can't put this on the air." And JJ's like, "What? What do you mean we can't put this on there?" He's like, "This is like almost porn. Like, we cannot air this. Like, this is." But he goes, but this is what we're gonna do. This is gonna be our first web series cartoon. First Adult Swim web series cartoon. So they just put it on the internet. They end up finishing 6 episodes, put it on the internet. It does so well that people at the network were like, how can we put this on the air? Like they're like, all right. He's like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put it on at 4 a.m. So this is the slot literally right before the Adult Swim switches back to Cartoon Network, and there's like a little kids show right after Kingstar King.
For the little kids that wake up to go to school the next morning.
Yeah.
They catch the end of this before they watch whatever.
But basically, it's a bunch of cokeheads and drug addicts are now watching Kingstar King. They love it as well. But how many fucking viewers can you get at the 4 a.m. time slot? So the show gets canceled. And JJ was like, God damn it. That was my first cartoon. It got canceled. What the hell? He's sitting and doesn't know what to do with himself. So he submits it to the Emmys. And he's like, whatever, man. I don't know. Like, the Emmys might, I'll just submit this to the Emmys. Months later, he's at a car wash, gets a call, and he's like, is this JJ Villard? They're like, yeah. He's like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, this is so-and-so with the Emmys, and we just want to congratulate you. Kingstar King just won an Emmy for character, design. I think it was character design. And he's like, what? And so now it's a fuck you to Adult Swim, because he literally just won their first animated Emmy with a canceled cartoon. So
I see both sides of it, because how are you supposed to put that stuff on TV if you're there's certain things that the TV station doesn't have control over. They'll probably get fined if they put some of that shit on it. That's awesome. That is cool.
Yeah, and I think now. I mean, at that time though, I don't know what year it was, but at that time, it was. It was too sexual. They said it was too sexual and out there for the network, but I don't think it would be now. I think it would be. I think the standards
fit right in.
Yeah. So he actually came out later and said that they were going to bring it back, and he was just going to do a special with Justin Roiland, a Kingstar King special. But he said that last year, and this was before Adult Swim, AT&T axed a million shows because they merged with Warner Brothers. So I don't know if it's still getting made, but he's still doing a ton of shit. He's doing fine. But
yeah, they greenlit his fairy tales after that. Yeah, so I figured he got the choice to do it another one and just chose to do something different. I don't know.
Well, he also said
it takes time. He could be working on it.
Yeah, he said he's working on Netflix shows. He's working on. He had that other show, so he's doing fine. He has a bunch of shows, but I as far as his creations, Kingstar King was honestly in the top. It's one of my favorite cartoons ever. It seriously is a unique cartoon to watch.
It is cool to look at.
Start submitting stuff to the Emmys.
It is
a great idea.
Fuck it,
I would like to know how much time he spent on making Kingstar King, because even stuff moving, there's so much hand drawn stuff just moving in the background that it seemed, man, I always say just the more detail you put in your work the better, but his was also on another level. I thought it was very Super Jail-esque, where there's constantly movement. There's everywhere that you look, and it's all colorful as hell. And you go back and rewatch it, and you notice something funny that you didn't notice the first time.
Noticed before.
Yeah.
Totally.
I love cartoons that do that, where almost rewatching it is a brand new experience.
Yep.
Well, that was a great segue. That is a great cartoon to watch. As Brad said, you can find those on Adult Swim. Go check them out. The cartoon I'm bringing to the table is probably a cartoon neither of you have heard of. That's how on the radar, or off the grid, this cartoon is.
Wow.
And it's called The Legend of Vox Machina. Have you guys ever heard of it?
No.
It's an Amazon Prime cartoon based off a Dungeons and Dragons web series called Critical Role.
Okay.
So a bunch of nerds got together and started playing Dungeons and Dragons on YouTube. And then they were like, wow, these campaigns that we wrote that span multiple hours and took years to create, why don't we turn that into a cartoon?
Hold on.
So, yeah.
Didn't Justin Roiland
Ask the
do
questions.
that?
What do you got?
Yeah, isn't that Harmon
say that
Quest?
again?
Oh, no, Dan Harmon. Dan Harmon did. Yeah, Harmon Quest. I thought that's literally the premise.
It's not, well, I mean, I don't know about Harmon Quest. I've never heard about that.
I think Harmon Quest is the live Dungeons and Dragons animated, while this was already a campaign that they turned into a story, if I'm correct. Is that
this
the case?
was original, like just just a us. Like if we played Dungeons and Dragons and put it on YouTube, then we were like, oh, this would make a really good cartoon. So they decided to turn it into a cartoon. So it's a group of Dungeons and Dragons players, and their group is called Critical Role. You can check them out on YouTube. But they were like, these campaigns, we put a lot of work into these. Why not turn them into cartoons? So they started a Kickstarter to raise $750,000 for one 22-minute episode. Now, after 1 hour, can you guess how much money that they raised?
I don't know. Shit is crazy these days. I've seen people get a lot of fucking money.
I'm going to say more. They got more than what they were originally asking for? Or?
After 1 hour of the Kickstarter being live, they raised $1 million.
Oh my gosh.
Fuck.
Good for them, man. That's amazing.
So their first 10 episodes were crowdsourced. The season 1 is 12 episodes long. Their first 10 episodes was crowdsourced. Season 2 is on the way, and then at New York Comic Con, I think a couple days ago, they just announced that they got picked up for season 3. So the show is like super animated. Think like Legend of Korra on Nickelodeon, like super, 2D but very detailed animated. And basically it follows. It's kind of like a mix between like Lord of the Rings and you know how Dungeons and Dragons is. You can have any type of character you want. So basically the first season is based off one of their first campaign arcs, and you get you get elves and humans and dragons and fucking fairies and a fucking bear. And it's basically these group of Dungeons and Dragons players got together to make a cartoon series that got picked up by Amazon Prime. Like they first they went to them and they were like, hey, we got 10 episodes made that we crowdsourced ourselves. So you guys only have to pay for 2 because season 1 is 12 episodes. And then Amazon Prime was like, sure, this is fucking great. We'll give you a season 2 and we'll give you a season 3. So it's the power of Kickstarter, guys. People will just give you money to make things.
That's amazing.
I have a question for you then. So you've watched this?
Yes, just finished it, season 1.
So I've never actually played Dungeons and Dragons. I'm familiar with it. So it's technically one guy is pretty much like has all the lore of a story, and people are rolling the dice, and he's creating this story as it goes. Am I correct?
I have played it, and it's that, but you can insert yourself into the story and building the story almost just as much as your dungeon master. So like
exactly,
you're right. The dungeon master, which is the kind of the creator of the story, makes the story, but they'll have to change it as people do certain things. Because their boss or whatever was killed by the team that the players. Does that make sense? Like you're as a dungeon master, you build a haunted house, and then if me and Al bring our characters in there, we can just look at each other and be like, all right, we light a match and burn down the house, and then the dungeon master has to figure out where the team goes next
on the fly, fix the story
on the fly,
on the fly.
Right.
Yeah.
It is actually a very creative game that I think would be perfect for,
story
anyone
writers.
Trying to build a story. Build a story.
Yeah.
So my question then is, they went through multiple campaigns then? Am I right in that?
Yeah, so that group of players, I believe it's 4 of them, have gone through several campaigns, and this season 1 is just based off their very first one that they put on YouTube.
Did they finish that campaign within that season and they're going to go to another one, or they just keep going with it?
The first season, yes, they finished that campaign.
So now next season will be a completely different set of characters and different story?
No. So in Dungeons and Dragons, you keep the same character, and your character just goes on different adventures. So it'll be the same characters going through different adventures. And as much like any Dungeons and Dragons, you level up. So, you could be a regular Saiyan in the first season, and then by campaign 3, you're a level 23 Saiyan with these abilities that you gain. Blah blah blah. But yeah, all the characters are characters that they actually used in their Dungeons and Dragons campaign, modified a little bit. But yeah, you're just seeing them, just a guy that you wrote on paper now animated in real life, which is really cool. And Joel Magli, I can't pronounce his last name, Maglione. He played, he did a cameo as Deathstroke in the canceled Ben Affleck Batman series. And he's been in How I Met Your Mother, and he's been in a whole bunch of other things. He was a very popular player in this Critical Role series, and he's got a big arc later on. One of his characters is now a character that he made is now canon in the actual Dungeons and Dragon lore, around the country.
Wait, so he made a brand new character, like a race or whatever.
He made a dragon.
Different...
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And wait, and then that was in the cartoon, and now it's official in the game?
He not in this cartoon, not yet. In real life, his Dungeons and Dragons character, that he made, became so popular that the writers of the actual Dungeons and Dragons, manuals and rule books, made his character canon.
That's
they
badass.
Were this is such a great character that
that's cool.
People can now interact with this guy.
That's cool.
But yeah, so me bringing that, you could watch the first season on Amazon Prime. Season 2 is about to drop, but the real thing that I wanted to tell you guys about is these guys, all they did was make a Kickstarter because they were passionate about making their ideas come to life, and they fucking did it. They raised so much money, and now they have a really cool cartoon on Amazon Prime. It's cool. 22-minute episodes.
How did people know about them beforehand? Were they just podcasting their campaigns or anything? Or
dude, it was just straight up. They just rigged cameras and just recorded themselves playing Dungeons and Dragons and put it on YouTube.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's all they did.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're called Critical Role. Now they have so that's how it started. Now it's gone into podcasts where they talk about things, and they still show their campaigns. Sometimes they bring celebrities in to play with them and stuff like that. So it was just getting traction, but it all started from them playing Dungeons and Dragons and saying, "Let's record this and put it on the internet and see what people think."
That's
cool. How it all started. Yeah.
Multiple people are doing that Kickstarter thing for making their own cartoon rather than going to a network these days, and I feel
it's better. It's better now.
Yeah, because the creator has the total control. There's no one above him saying, "No,
practices
can't do that."
And I don't know, standards and practices where you gotta
you can make bouncing titties.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly. Yeah.
Al, what tunes are you bringing to the table? What are you watching?
So it's October, so I wanted to go with something creepy, and I thought, what's the creepiest animation I've seen in a while? And it's Jack Stauber's Opal.
The creepiest. Love it.
Oh man,
Love it.
It is so creepy. It's his, and so it's a short on Adult Swim that you could watch on HBO Max now, and his animation is very weird, and I really can't put my finger on it. He does a little bit of everything. It's 2D animation. He's got claymation and stop motion mixed. That he mixes all of it together.
Live action too. He's
live action
too. Yeah.
There's 3D mixed in with it. He blends it all, and he doesn't blend it very smoothly, but that's part of the allure to it. Yeah, it's part of the aesthetic. and this is just the creepiest freaking cartoon ever. I was rewatching it, and Trisha's like, "This is like a freaking nightmare. Why do you watch this?"
It is, dude. It really is.
And so it's basically about it's funny because like I can't tell if you're supposed to know exactly like what went down in this video, but it's like a psychological thriller type kind of thing too. But it's also a musical. It's like a goofy musical psychological animation thriller.
I want to stop you for a second. I watched some YouTube guy break down that, and I hate when people
you don't have to break it down.
Art. Like
right.
You're supposed to make your own assumptions about shit, and he made a lot of good points.
You can make some good conclusions from that. Like I feel like spoiler alert if anyone hasn't seen it yet, pull off the headphones, but it's like it's probably about this little girl that's actually that family that she goes across the street to, that's probably her real family, and she's like dealing with it in her own way. Like that's probably what goes down. But I mean, it's just like take it however you want to. It's even his music, I think it's like goofy as hell. It's so goofy, and it's but it's awesome, and I feel like it's crazy how it's picked up so much traction in like TikTok, and like just like it fits right in with like it's corn shit. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like it's goofy enough to where no one's looking deeper into the meaning of Jack Stauber's lyrics. You know, they're just stupid as hell just to be stupid. But the claymation part of it, I feel like, oh man, it would be so cool to do. Oh my gosh, he has like he has these gross faces with like actual teeth in the clay, and he puts that on top of live action people like moving around. And I noticed the next time that I watched it, and tell me what you guys think, but I feel like he had like a stationary spot where he was doing the claymation, the heads, and then he would move the heads with just like a stationary camera in front of it, and then he would just take that and overimpose that on on whatever live action thing he had going on, because it seemed like the heads were pretty much fit in the middle of the screen anytime you saw them.
I got a question for you. Yeah, I got a question for you. So most of Jack Stauber's stuff is, I am really interested in the art aspect of a lot of artists, but he is, it's all art, but the medium in which, like a cartoon, like 2D or claymation, and he mixes it all and does it well. But another huge part, I even would think even like bigger than that in Jack Stauber's stuff, is his music. Is like he makes albums and stuff. And you have written a musical before. You've written it, and how do you think he made all of that music before he made the or was it the other way around?
No, I don't. I think what my guess would be is that when you make music, a lot of the times people wait for a spark of something to write about, or like they want to write something with meaning or something that sounds good, and they wait till they feel something that they could write about. Some people want to write every day, and when you want to write every day, you don't have something creative to write every day, so you give yourself a formula. And I think he gave himself a formula where he wrote a story, and then he's like, this will be a good spot for a song. Let's make a song that is in the head of this guy right here, right now.
Interesting.
Like like the first song in that is when the old guy watching the so that's like the overall theme. That's like the overall theme. But I'm talking about the first one sung by so she gets in the house and sees the creepy guy sitting on the watching the TV.
Oh. hard to
looking
breathe.
for his smokes. He's looking for his smokes, coughing up blood, and then he just breaks out into a song about how it looks so easy to breathe on TV.
Yeah.
It's like
It's a good song, dude. It's actually a
great
really good
It's,
song.
it's great, but I think it's more of like him making jokes with himself and be like, "This would be funny. Let's write a song about it. Let's have fun with it." Because when you write so many frickin' songs, sometimes you don't want to have like a deep frickin' meaning to it. Like, let's just make a song that's gonna make me laugh, and he kind of set the stage perfectly for himself to do that. You know what I mean?
I saw a Jack Stauber, a show of his. I bet it's on YouTube. I bet we could find it. But he did a show in a McDonald's by himself, like while he was sitting at the table eating like his burger.
I need to see that. I need to see that.
It was like on a little like Casio keyboard, and he's like singing and stuff. I might be getting this wrong. We'll link it in the bottom if I find it. But he's wild, man. And I think he's from Pittsburgh. Didn't we meet some guy on tour?
Brett, so we asked him to play with us when Red Francis came went through.
Shit, yeah.
And we had a conversation with him. He was down to, but he was out playing a different show. I think he was out on tour at the time.
Oh, fuck, man.
But that other guy that we were talking to, who hooked us up with all those other shows, was his buddy.
Yeah.
And I think he kind of hooked us up through that.
Opal is equal parts terrifying and very enjoyable. Much like you said, it is one of those creepy shows that I have to watch during the daytime and not at night because I'll have nightmares.
And it's supposed to be. I think it was put out on like right before Halloween in 2020. So,
you made a good point about like how he was saying writing songs, draw something. If he's inspired, he'll write a song about it. I live new swoops, guys. My new moniker. So I'm living by the Stephen King way of things, and that is when you are inspired, you write, and when you are uninspired, you read. That's
okay.
That's good.
Yeah, I think that's good.
pretty good.
Yeah. Anyhow, those are some tunes we're watching this week. Be sure and check out the Patreon, patreon.com/wearethetelevision. Go get some sweet merch. Go watch Opal. Go watch Vox Machina. Go watch King Star King. You're going to enjoy them all. If you got any questions, hit us up on Twitter. Leave us a little comment. Tell us we suck. Tell us that we're great. Go buy one of them Toon Talk mugs, right?
Yeah.
Do it.
And I am thinking about seeing how much it costs to get a billboard made. There we go.
What are we promoting? Go watch a video on YouTube? Dude.
Yeah.
I love it. Please do.
Let's do that. Yeah. Oh my God. That's ridiculous.
Just a billboard of our faces that says Toon Talk TV on it.
Where the hell are we going to put that even? Which billboard are you going to...
Dude, I was driving, when I was driving to Brett's house, I was driving like super far on the south side, and I just saw this beat up old crusty billboard that was still going, and it was just like whatever they were advertising was just like melting off the wall. And I was like, I wonder how much it would cost to buy that and just put something right there.
Oh my God.
$1,000 probably.
It's happening.
Hey, I don't even know. I have no clue.
Yeah, I don't either.
All right, guys, that's the show. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Later.